Reuters reported Indonesia's central bank and the Federal Reserve have been discussing intensively for a potential currency swap, as was unveiled by Bank of Indonesia's governor on Thursday. The central bank already has swap agreements with Japan and Singapore and is discussing increasing its $30 billion equivalent bilateral swap line it has with China. Zambia, which has the world's worst performing currency this year, said it has asked banks for proposals on reorganizing as much as 11.2 billion of its foreign debt. The yield on its 1.25 Eurobonds trading due July 2027 is 35%, with bonds trading at about 33 cents on the dollar. The country is Africa's second biggest copper producer, and the recent commodities demand shock has taken its toll on Zambia. In both cases, the strong dollar shares a lot of the blame for the destruction happening in emerging markets. Please note that as long as the dollar remains this strong, it's very difficult to make a case for balanced financial conditions to support global growth. More on this topic in another post. However, coronavirus aside, the strong dollar has been my biggest concern for a very long time. The Fed has provided about $200 billion in swap liquidity to date. However, the dollar still remains strong. My guess is that before this crisis is over, the Fed will probably provide over $1 trillion in dollar liquidity. However, this will not solve the dollar funding problem around the world. There needs to be a permanent solution, and so far, no one has any idea on how to solve this problem permanently. Whiting Petroleum Corporation seems to be the first victim of the recent oil crash, with the company commencing voluntary Chapter 11 bankruptcy procedures. While the company has $585 million in cash on its balance sheet, it also has more debt that can be serviced. The company said it reached an agreement in principle with most debt holders, and after the debt-to-equity swap restructuring, debt holders will hold 97% of common shares. Unfortunately, if oil does not rise to pre-coronavirus levels in the next several months, we can expect many more debt-to-equity restructurings in the oil and gas sector. On that note, President Trump tweeted implying that Saudi Arabia and Russia will lower production by 10 million barrels of oil, and most oil and gas producers were up significantly on Thursday. Even if that means 10 million barrels a day, it's hard to see how the oversupply situation will be fixed anytime soon, since most analysts see 20 million barrels a day in demand destruction. The bottom line is that investors are getting hit from all sides. We are witnessing unprecedented, cascading economic conditions unfolding with no playbook and without knowing what a post-coronavirus world will look like. As such, markets continue to be driven by fear and the unknown, and both conditions lead to extreme volatility, something that will probably continue to characterize the market in the near future. Please have a nice weekend and please stay safe.